This is Ed, and welcome back to Global Business News TV. And here we are in downtown San Diego. I took that picture. We're on Harbor Drive, coming in from the airport into downtown. And you're looking at, of course, the Embarcadero. That's where the cruise ships come in on the other side of the bay. And a lot of those buildings you see, not all, but a lot of them are condos and rentals, high end, of course. And this is 92101. It's a nice place. So I've been in San Diego since 96. Prior to that, many years living in LA in the West Side, Century City area. San Diego's piece of heaven, Southern California. Very, very different than Metro LA. So my residence is in the downtown sector, sort of behind where I'm sitting right now. Over there, you can't really see it. It's on Commercial Street, adjacent to what I call Government Center. It's where the offices of federal government, which has a huge presence here in San Diego, resulting from the military, particularly Navy, headquarters of the Pacific Fleet. Pentagon West is sort of behind me there. You can't really see it right now. Just down the street from where I'm living. And Seaport Village is around the other side, tourist area, cute area. And that's across from the Coronado Naval Base. San Diego International Airport is to my right, about half a mile. So it's very convenient. And of course, it's nice weather. Today, we're going to be talking with a Londoner who is now a U.S. citizen, James Moss, living in Midtown Manhattan, in the heartbeat of Manhattan. James Moss is founder and CEO of Curzon Central Real Estate, Property Management, and high-tech mobility. He's going to be talking with us about current goings on in London property and also Manhattan and Brooklyn. And he'll be joined by me in conversation about what employers are looking for right now in relocation. And it's a tricky time, frankly. James has got his fingers on the pulse in London and Manhattan, and we're going to be talking about that. So we'll be right back with James. As soon as he comes into the global meeting room, we'll start right up again. Thank you for being here on Global Business News TV. And we welcome your feedback. You can reach me later after watching this or tuning in, listening to it on Global Business Radio. My email is editor global business news at gmail.com. Gets right to me. Thank you. Okay, this is Ed, and here we are again, and that's San Diego. I took that picture. I was a passenger in the car Joanne was driving. We're coming in from the airport, which is adjacent to downtown San Diego. That's what that is. And you're looking at the Embarcadero area of the waterfront. And most of those towers are condos or high-priced apartments. It's a few office buildings, but you can't pick them out in that because they all look alike. But where I live is sort of behind my head in that area, and the bay goes further to that side. Uh, and you see the new office buildings and the Seaport Village and the tourist area, the convention center. It all sweeps around behind me there. And to the other side, where I'm going now, that is approaching Little Italy. Of course, you can't see it from this angle, just to give you a perspective. And I'm looking at you with from let's see, probably 65th Street, Central Park, and looking back towards Fifth Avenue there.
Yeah, I think it was certainly Central Park and probably around 65th Street. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, just around there. But I'm doing that from memory, not from any other knowledge point.
Well, you're pretty good, actually. I mean, you know your way around New York very well.
So I was recently reading, and I brought it up right here in front of me now, your market update that you published online for everybody. And it's full of good information, everybody. And if you don't have it, you should get it from James Moss. James, what's the email they should use to reach out and subscribe to your newsletter, online newsletter?
Yeah, it's very simple. It's James.Moss at Curzon Central. That's all one word. Curzon. Was it Z over here? Anyway,
Yeah.
CurzonCentral.com.
I think it's really creative with the red to be an O. What does that red design represent to you?
Well, the idea is that you're nailing a location. So it's something that you would see on Google Maps, for example. You put in, I want to go from the harbor in San Diego to I don't know, Pier 64 or whatever it is in San Francisco. Little red things pop up, right? And that's sort of that's sort of what we do, be it with relocation or be it with working on specific properties. So it's just it sort of fits in with our tech mix as well. It's sort of thing you come across. So yeah, we thought, well, we'll use that. That works quite well.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I just want to quote from your market update. In 2026, the biggest challenges in corporate relocation are less about the physical move and more about cost control, about the employee experience, and dealing with the complexities. HR or global mobility teams and employees often feel different sides of the same pressure. Now, James, you're an expert at all this from dealing for many years as a high-end property guy in London, in the city, particularly, and now as a U.S. citizen living in Midtown Manhattan, in the epicenter of American economic power.
Well, that's certainly right. All that entire statement's entirely correct. I mean, I focus on really relocation from a property background. But I have to say, I was chatting to a client the other day, a company working with, and it was really interesting. They were saying, well, from an industry point of view, your relocation company, where we're talking about helping people moving around rather than private clients at that point, said, but from a technology point of view, you're clearly a technology company. And my view is that we are what we do first and foremost. So if we're moving people, be it corporate clients, corporate assignees, or it's private clients who we're helping find houses or rent or manage or whatever, we're doing that wearing our relocation, our property hat. However, from a technology point of view, because of the reach, and this is really on the relocation side more so than the private client side, the power of the technology that we use, and we'll come on to this shortly, the fact that we're mobile first, the fact that we're AI, the fact that we are real-time expense management and things like that, puts us very firmly at the epicenter of technology development in the world of global mobility. So it's fun, it's great. But that's sort of how we work. Being here in Manhattan is absolutely fantastic. I mean, being in London is also simply fantastic for international as well. But for US domestic, US inbound, Manhattan is a terrific base for that. And also we move US clients around the United States. And again, New York is a really good center for that. We're not working, out in Dakota or Minnesota or somewhere like that. I mean, we're very accessible is the point. So yeah, that's how we operate.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the nature of relocation has changed, and because of the youth movement, of course, young people in the workplace. Of course, it's 4 or 5 generations working in the most workplaces to some extent, but the high growth is in young people, certainly under 40, and very focused under 30. In other words, Gen Z people, super tech and fast paced.
Yeah,
And so it's not old school anymore.
it's not. It's really changed. It has so changed. And the change is only accelerating. I've put a few slides together, which
I'd love to see them.
yeah, it might be worth having a look at because it's very fast moving. I mean, also we have the war going on in Iran now. We have the whole Middle Eastern sector sort of how could I say becoming front and center. I mean, it's a war zone that's impacting companies. And that's on top of already the generational changes in the way that people work and communicate. So we're getting we're at a really interesting moment in time, in fact, where all of this is sort of coming together. Maybe not in a way that was expected or planned or necessarily desired. But I put a few slides together, which I thought might be worth having a look at, which sort of covers and tries to pull together some of these points that we're looking at now.
Okay, let's get there and have lots of conversation.
Okay.
And this is being recorded.
Okay, so just give me a second to looking for.
Yeah, it would be interesting to cover at another show, not necessarily today, although we can certainly touch on it, that companies have been expanding into Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and now they're in the middle of a war zone. It's craziness.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I'd like to discuss, have companies been asking people to vacate, to leave the war zone, or are they just they don't know what to do, so they're doing nothing? But whose responsibility is that? If people want to get out of the area to a safer area, Is that going on? We could cover that at a different time, but if you'd like to comment on that, I know it would be really interesting breaking news.
Well, it's happening. I mean, I know a number of people really have, more so from our private client side. Work with quite a lot of bankers and other professionals, wealth management professionals, particularly in London. And they have people out in the Middle East, they have them in Kuwait, they have them in Dubai, they have them in Abu Dhabi, and they've been pulling them out. I mean, like really quickly. And you know, some have gone back to there's a lot going back to London, a lot going back to the UK. One of the people I work with is gone back to Switzerland. They're just moving out, and some are now moving back, which is interesting. So you've got this churn. Um, so looking at this slide, which is fairly dramatic, but I think really sort of does tell the story in the Middle East about the uncertainty, about the real risk of escalation. I think this could be a very drawn out affair. I think it's not going to get solved overnight. The parties involved very distrusting of each other. Apart from the sort of physical damage of missiles and drones and so on around the region, what you've also got is the economic tailwinds behind all of this. I mean, it's going to take a very, very long time. It's going to say years, but it certainly could take a very considerable time before the supply chain starts getting back to normal again. I'm not just talking about getting oil and gas through the Straits of Hormuz here. I mean, the knock-on effect in places like Asia is absolutely catastrophic at the moment. In the Philippines, for example, there's no oil reserves. So we have this very complicated situation. I mean, just picking a couple of things out on this slide. I mean, the disruption is obvious to everybody. The cost surge is huge. Prices are escalating everywhere. Again, it's not just oil, which is up and down like a yo-yo at the moment. It's actually all the knock-on stuff that goes with that, fertilizers, agriculture, that type of thing, which people don't really think about. And that affects the cost of food, and it affects inflation, and so on and so forth. Companies who move assignees around, move employees around to work, are taking a very different view there, and they have been for a while. They are looking for a lot more flexibility. They're looking for a relief on cost pressure. There's huge pressure on costs right now. And this, I say right now, this has actually been around for a long time. Just as no one's really come up with a sensible solution, because the big relocation companies are so entrenched in their ways. It sort of goes against their best interest to pursue that type of model. We don't have that baggage. We can get on, we can do it. That's why we're onboarding clients very regularly at the moment, and having some amazing conversations with companies. I mean, big companies and the small companies, but a lot of support companies as well, who help on the back end and help companies move around and help with tax and help with visas and so on and so forth.
So what they like about what Curzon is doing is your tech, that mobile app that you have. You want to zero in on, just give people a quick look.
Well, the mobile app is a tool, and then it's an excellent tool. It's an absolutely excellent tool for people being able to move on the go with a relocation package in their pocket. Okay. They also use email and so on. It's not mandatory that you have to use the app. But what we're finding is that people just love using it. It's so simple. It's so easy. It's also very sophisticated. Um, in that the communication is very simple, but the way that we record and manage information and work the assignees on, well, I'd say online. I mean on basically on voice and video communication, which sounds very simple. I mean, it's just like sort of what we're doing now, but it just saves them a ton of money and it gives them the best support. And those who really want more support and aren't worried too much about the financial side, I mean, we save 60 to 80% on conventional relocation programs just by using our technology. But those people who aren't too concerned about the cost side, and I got to say, I don't meet many of those. Most people I meet actually aren't concerned about the cost side. But even you're not concerned about the cost side, you just want to get the job done really well and really efficiently, and with one point of contact to take care of the whole thing. We do all of that, but we
Yeah.
also do it much more affordably. So it's a sort of win-win situation.
So talking about that, watching expenses, describe one of the key things is, as I understand it, is the expense tracker. Curzon
Yeah,
Relo expense tracker is a hot item here, and I think you should focus on that for a minute.
yeah, I'm very happy to expand on that a bit. So the expense tracker is actually part of the app. It's built into the app, and it works in two ways. Basically, people moving can track their costs in real time, and they can track their costs as they go, or they can set a budget and track their costs against the budget. And there are many different sections that covers. It could cover things like air travel. It could cover things like hotels, initial property rents and deposits when they're securing a place, visa costs. I mean, all sorts of things, shipping costs, pets, whatever you really want to put in there. The lovely thing about that is that it's real time. It's all happening in real time. And you can export all the data. So you can export to third-party platforms, CRM platforms, accountancy platforms, that type of thing. The other thing that we've done is through our client portal now. Clients can actually go onto different regions. So you could have clients based out in Singapore, but also with opposite numbers in maybe London or Berlin or Dubai, and everyone can get access to the data real time. So often you have regional hubs with running their own regional budgets and so on, and with their own local regional issues and assignees, and the needs of an assignee in, say, Sydney might be different from the needs of an assignee in Rio de Janeiro. So we can cater very specifically for these individuals, for their individual needs, their individual costs, their individual expenses, tracking those types of things. And we can do that at a regional level to fit into regional budgets, regional hubs, and regional management. So it's very flexible. It's incredibly handy. And it's going down really well. I mean, people, users, HR managers, global mobility people, really are so surprised by it. The other thing which is really important is AI, and we have AI built into the app. So you can actually create your own relocation program almost within, well, I can say seconds. I mean, certainly within a minute or two. And you can drill down on that. And we can deliver those programs as well with real human people, relocation advisors supporting in the destination location, or remotely from elsewhere. So the flexibility is absolutely fantastic, and the cost savings are great, and the application of AI as a support tool is extraordinarily powerful and really, really helpful. And the thing with us is that you only, to use to turn a phrase, you only pay for what you need. So if you need something fairly basic, and you're talking about Generation Z, for example, who may not want, or need or be given a sort of full-on traditional package, it's absolutely ideal for those guys. Anyone who are given a lump sum of money, who wants to save some money, but get the job done really well, it's perfect for them. But it's perfect for anyone moving, frankly.
Yeah,
It really
fascinating.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when people have to evacuate.
Well, exactly that. And it's interesting. If people have to evacuate, we have an amazing network of contacts to actually pull people out. We haven't had to do it yet, but just we work with. No, we work with lawyers, and we work with accountants, and we work with back end advisory people and all sorts of things. But one of the groups we actually work with are independent security consultants, who are particularly strong in the UK. And we have long relationships with one or two of those companies, and they will send people over to help bring people out. And it's really great, actually. It's almost like a sort of an expanded business concierge service. Um, and a number of other companies. I noticed wealth managers have started doing this recently. So it's an interesting work.
So the service that you provide is multitasking because these people need care. They need constant communication capability, not to be isolated, especially during difficult times.
Yeah, yeah,
And your tool does that because it's online all the time. You don't have to try to reach people by telephone or send an email, although that's certainly part of it. If you just get a message using instant
we
communications.
yeah we exactly instant communication. We do it through the app, which has its own communication module built into it, which is fully encrypted and secure, can't be hacked, can't be listened into. It's also GDPR and data compliant in the EU, the UK, US, and so on. It's instant. It's right at your fingertips, and you use it like you would any day. Use your mobile phone. Simple as that, really.
Fascinating. Okay, so show me another slide.
Yeah, sure. So let me find the right button here. It's always fun and games with these things. Just give me a sec. Okay, so slightly different touch now. So I thought what we would do is two of our main markets that we work in are London and New York, as you know. And it's very interesting with the war going on, the impact that that's having back in, for instance, the UK. And again, we've talked about Generation Z and the technology and all the rest of it. So I thought we'd just have a quick look at what's happening in both the sales and rental markets. So the reason I use both is that we do represent buyers in London and New York, and we do, many people relocating. Although they tend to rent, we do actually run into more and more buyers these days. And sometimes people want to rent their properties out. They're going away on assignment, and they don't want to sell. They want the properties rented out, or they just want them looked after. And we provide a vacant management service for those types of clients, both in London and New York. So that's why I put a little bit here. But I mean, the London situation is that sales prices are basically crashing right now. That's really to do, particularly at the top end, which is really what we're focused on here. And that's really to do with new changes in the UK tax system. I'm getting quite a lot of noise outside my window here in New York. So anyway, hopefully you can still hear me. But there are major changes going on in the UK tax system in terms of inheritance tax and wealth tax. And that means that a lot of people, a lot of international people, including Brits who are not domiciled in the UK, so they technically live elsewhere, are now caught in this new UK global tax net, just as you have in the United States, we have here. And it's causing an exodus. People are leaving, they're selling. Prices are dropping. I mean, values are 20% or more lower in central London than they've been, over the last year or so. It actually presents a terrific buying opportunity because values always end up going up in London. However, in terms of what we're actually seeing in the market, is we are seeing some fantastic deals and some fantastic opportunities, buying opportunities. Not great for sellers, but if you're one of the larger sectors are actually American buyers in London. We've acted over the years for many Americans because we understand both systems so well. We can translate it. We know London incredibly well. We know New York incredibly well. And many other places in the States we actually know them. So we are, so we're always on the lookout for those types of opportunities. And at the moment, London just keeps looking at like a better and better value for someone who wants to buy a quality property there. It doesn't have to be a mansion. I mean, we're looking at Holland Park mansions in this picture. But just a regular 1 or 2 bedroom flat, an apartment, a pied à terre, whatever you're going to be. Everything is at a discount right now. So it's a really exciting opportunity. In terms of rental markets, the rental market's been surging. There's not enough supply. And rents are really high and they keep getting higher. There's a whole new raft of legislation coming in to protect tenants called the Renters Reform Act 2026, which comes into effect in a few weeks' time, actually, on the 1st of May. And that changes the whole game for landlords in terms of, somewhat in terms of tax, but very much in terms of protections for tenants. Rents can only be put up once a year, only by a limited percentage. You can't, it sounds crazy actually if you're a sort of marketeer, but you can't take any bids. If you're renting a property, you can only take the price that you're renting it at as the accepted price of the rent, if you sort of follow my meaning. So let's say you're renting a property out at £2,500 a month, okay? And someone comes along and offers you £3,000 per month. Well, you can't actually take that. You can only take the £2,500 a month under new legislation, which is really a bit ridiculous, frankly.
That sounds it, yeah. Boy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Because the renter's not getting hurt, but it's a benefit to the tax system as well.
Well, it's scaring landlords away from the market. People saying, well, why invest in real estate if if we rental real estate, if we're capped in this way. Also, there are only so many things you can set off in terms of expenses. Um, so what's going to happen here is that there's going to be less landlords in the market, less property in the market. Rents will also be quoted much higher than they should be. I mean, it's going to have an adverse effect. So your apartment at 2,500 that you want to market at 2,500, but you think it's worth 2,500, maybe it's worth 2,000. You're putting on 2,500. You might say, well, I'll put on at 3,500, and then we'll see what bids come in. So you're sort of, no one quite knows how this is going to play out yet. But what I can tell you for sure is that there's going to be less and less property available, and the rents are going to go higher, not going to go lower. And that's the situation in London at the moment. And the other thing, just to tag on to that, is you've got this huge amount you've got this huge exodus of Brits from the Middle East, because there's loads of Brits working in Dubai and Saudi and places like that, who've come home. They don't want to come home, by the way. They'd rather be in the, working in these tax-free, zero income tax countries in the Emirates. But they don't have a lot of choice. And of course, if they come home and they get stuck in the UK, after 6 months, all of a sudden they find themselves they're becoming a UK resident again. So that's not very attractive, because you're in the UK tax system again, which they've worked very hard not to be in. So it's a very messy situation, and it affects people in many different ways. And if you're looking, and companies are moving people around, and maybe what they're doing is, and I've seen this happen a couple of times lately, people who usually would be based in the Middle East, they pull them back and they base them back in the UK. They work remotely, and they get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to start sort of teleconferencing and so on with people and their colleagues out in the Emirates or wherever it's going to be. So it's not ideal from anyone's point of view. And then you've got international companies and domestic companies who are relocating people into London, into the UK. And there's a shortage of supply. So you've got everyone fighting for a very limited supply of stock, and the rents are going up, and it's a bit of a battlefield.
So now, how is the new mayor of Manhattan? How's he doing? Is it just BS, or is he actually trying to do what London is doing?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, he's just done his first 100 days, right? And I guess the biggest thing he's done so far is that he's bringing in a wealth tax, if you like, an enhanced mansion tax on properties worth over $5 million, and he's pushing that through at the moment. So you have a property, you own a property, and you're not you're not a resident, although it may apply to residents. I'm not entirely sure. I need to see the small print. But basically, if you have let's say you live in Florida, for the sake of argument, and you've moved down to Florida and you're in Miami and you're in the finance world or something, and you've kept a comfortable pied-à-terre on Central Park, which we're looking at here. We're actually looking up towards Harlem. But let's say we're standing on these lovely skyscrapers with this stunning view in our sort of 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. There's a really very high probability that's going to be worth well over 5 million, and you're going to be paying tax on that. So that is, I think, the most noticeable thing with Mandami at the moment, and that is being supported by the governor of New York, Herschel, say in Albany. So that's the sort of first obvious big thing that we're seeing happen. And he has a mandate from the people and a policy of bringing affordable housing into New York. He's a social democrat. He's a socialist democrat. So we'll see where it goes. But certainly, New York, Manhattan is full of very wealthy people. I mean, it's full of people of all types, but there are a lot of very wealthy people here who are probably not going to be too keen on what he's doing.
Oof. Take a deep breath, huh? Yeah, right. Okay, so your expertise is needed more than ever.
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, the sales market is actually fairly solid in New York at the moment. I mean, the only thing I would say again is we have the impact of the war with Iran, or the ceasefire with Iran at the moment. It's pushed up mortgage rates. Okay, so that means that people who would usually be looking to buy at this time of year. And we're talking about the spring, of course, which is prime buying season in many locations, Manhattan and New York and London. They're not buying; they're renting. Um, they don't want to buy, or they can't afford to buy. They want interest rates to come down. They want inflation to come down. The price of oil isn't helping any of this, for example. And we touched upon some of this earlier on in this call. But what's happening is you also have, and you have had for some time, tight tax restrictions or tighter tax restrictions on landlords in New York. Many have pulled out of the market. What we're seeing rents going up. Okay, so it's very similar to London, different reasons, but the same type of picture emerging. Where you've got a very low supply and you've got very expensive rents. There's a lack of so-called affordable housing here. And what we're finding is rents are going up and everything's very, very competitive. So from a sort of moving people around point of view, be it US domestic companies bringing people into New York, international companies bringing people into New York. You've got to be very realistic about your budgets. You've got to be very realistic about what's happening in the market. You've got to be prepared to move really quickly and really fast, which is true in London as well. But in New York, because there's so many hoops to go through, and again, the UK is getting a bit like this as well, but New York is well ahead at the moment, in particularly in co-ops and condo buildings, than New York in terms of sort of due diligence. Money's going down the way the brokerage system works over here, which is pretty aggressive. So if you're coming into New York, you've got to be prepared for all of this stuff. And yeah, absolutely, that's what we do. We guide people through them, we get them the results, and we make sure that they come out on top. And yeah, that's a very big part of what we're all about.
Thank you, James Moss, for the past 40 minutes or so. I really enjoyed this. This is so much information. It's like, what an education. Thank you. Come back again.
Well, thank you very much, Ed. I'll stop the slideshow there. I think people got the general idea.
Yeah,
Um,
great.
but yeah, I think it's just great catching up with you again and updating the market. And I think we'll keep doing this periodically, fairly regularly, probably monthly moving forward. But things are fast changing. But it's going to be it's complicated, and it's going to be a really busy time for companies who are moving people around. But I think we're also going to see a slowdown. I think with all the uncertainty going on, a lot of organizations will choose not to move people, or just sort of put everything on hold. Individuals moving will rethink their plans. So yeah, it's watch this space for the next update.
All right, take care of yourself. Curzon Central. Your website, curzoncentral.com.
Yeah, you can find everything at www.curzoncentral.com, including links to our relocation side, which is almost like a separate business. And there's a separate web address for that, but which is www.curzonrelo.com. But you can find, wherever you go, whichever site you go to, you can find everything. So everything is there.
Okay, cheers.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Het. It's been great catching up.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. Signing
Cheers.
off from San Diego, and James is in Midtown Manhattan.